Mannatha Shri Jagannatho Madguru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Cheto darparnamarjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreya Kairavachandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita svadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Namah Kamalnabhaya Namah Kamalmaline Namah Kamalpadaya Namaste Kamalekshana. Yo Brahmanam vidadhati purvam Yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tagmangha devamatma buddhi prakasham mumukchurvai sharanamaham prapadye. The divine souls will have a few minutes of Nam Sankirtan, and after that we'll continue with the Gita. Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala
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 Bhajo Giridhar Giridhar Govind Gopala.
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala.
Bhajo Murali Manohar Nand Lala.
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 Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala.
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 Bhajo Gopala.
Bhajo Gopala.
Bhajo Nand Lala.
Bhajo Nand Lala.
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala.
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 बोलो गोपाल कृष्ण भगवान की
Jai.
At the end of the third chapter, Arjun asks a question which I left you with yesterday, which is, why do we do wrong things even when we know it's wrong? Shri Krishna has a simple answer. Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhava. There are two causes of our wrong actions, Kam and Krodh. Kam means desire and Krodh means anger. He says that both of these obscure our knowledge, our correct understanding that allows us to distinguish between right and wrong. It becomes clouded in either desire or anger, and then because of that, we do the wrong thing. Or you can say, even though we know something is wrong, if our desire is strong enough, we'll do it anyway. If our anger is strong enough, we'll do it anyway. Anyone who's ever stolen something knows that it's wrong to steal that thing. But their desire to have that thing is greater than their understanding. So the desire, even though they know it's wrong, the desire causes them to do the wrong thing. When we get angry, we know it's not right to yell at someone or to say hurtful things to someone else or to hit someone. We know it's not right, but we do it anyway. In the moment, we feel justified. We're so angry, we think the other person deserves it, and we don't care if we hurt them. Afterwards, we regret it. Shri Krishna says that this is just like when you have a fire that's burning inefficiently. It's very, very smoky. So it might be so smoky that the smoke envelops the flames. And even though the flames are there, you can't see them correctly. Just like that, our distinction between right and wrong gets covered in smoke, the smoke of our desire or our anger. He gives a second analogy. He says it's like a mirror covered by years of dirt. So the mirror is there, but you can't see any reflection because it's too dirty. Or he says like an embryo is covered with amniotic fluid. In the same way, desire and anger cover our intellect and become the cause of our wrong actions. Can we remove desire and anger from our mind so that we don't do wrong things? It's a good question. Where do desire and anger reside? Indriyani mano buddhi rasyadhishtanamuchyate. Shri Krishna says they reside in our mind, and they're actually a product of Rajoguna. Rajoguna samudbhava. He says this desire and anger are produced by the Rajas quality of Maya. The Rajas quality is one of three qualities of Maya. We have Sattva, Raj, and Tam. Sattva means the pure quality. Raj is in between, and Tam is bad. Why do desire and anger come from Rajoguna? Rajoguna is the quality that when it's active in your mind, and you have all three qualities in your mind, but only one predominates at any one time. When Rajoguna is active, you feel ambitious to enjoy worldly things for your immediate satisfaction or excitement. The effect of Rajoguna in the mind makes us want to get some enjoyment from this world now. It also leads to tension because of that. But you see, the Rajas quality brings forth this desire in our mind. And then if we don't get that thing, we feel a sense of frustration or anger. So both Kam and Krodh, Shri Krishna says, are natural facets of the mind. Kind of like this shawl is made of thread, right? You can't see the thread, you only see the shawl. You don't see the individual threads, but it's made up of individual threads. Would it be possible to remove the threads and keep the shawl? No. Something like that, because our mind is actually made of Maya. So it is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam, like you could say 3 different threads. Sattva in the Vedas is said to be Aja Mekam Lohit Shukla Krishnam Vahvi Praja Srijamanam Sarupa Ajo Hyeko Jushamano Nushete Jahatyenam Bhukta Bhoga Majonya. It has 3, Maya has 3 qualities, Sattva, Raj, Tam. Sattva is referred to as the color white, Raj as the color red, and Tam as the color black. So imagine a shawl made of 3 colors of thread, white, red, and black. That's our mind. The fabric of our mind is extremely subtle, but the actual fabric of the mind itself is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. So you can't say that the mind has Sattva, Raj, Tam in it. It is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. That is why all the material problems of the mind are innate in the mind. They don't come from somewhere else. We have a Mayic mind, so we have desire. We have a Mayic mind, so we have anger. We have a Mayic mind, so we have greed. And all the other faults of our mind which arise out of these three main. Kam, Krodh, and Lobh are referred to again and again in our scriptures as the three main problems we have: desire, greed, and anger. On top of that, you can add jealousy, hatred, dishonesty, all these other things, but really they just originate from Kam and Krodh. So how can you remove Kam and Krodh? You can't, unless you remove your mind. They're a part of your mind. But Shri Krishna gives us another method, at least a hint about another method, when he says, Indriyani paranyahurindriyebhyah param manah manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastu sah. He says that he tells a sequence of increasing subtlety. So you have senses. Through these senses you perceive the world. But more subtle than your senses, referred to with the word indriya, is your man. Man means your emotional mind, which gets all the impulses, feels desires, feels anger, things like that. That's your man. Man is more subtle than your senses. It's beyond your senses. Beyond your man is your buddhi. Buddhi, your intellect. The intellect has the power to discriminate and decide between what is right and what is wrong. So this buddhi is more subtle than the man, or beyond man, which is more subtle than your senses. Beyond that, there's something else. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. There's something else beyond. It's just referred to with the word saha here, which is a personal pronoun, him. But in Ved, it's described in a little bit more detail. Indriyebhyah parahyartha arthebhyascha param manah manasastu para buddhir buddhiratma mahan parah mahatah paramavyaktam avyaktat purushah parah purushan na param kinchit sa kashtha sa paragati. Ved continues. This is from Kathopanishad. After buddhi, it says your soul is beyond that. This explains why your senses can't perceive your mind. You can't see your mind with your eyes, right? Because your mind is more subtle than your senses. And beyond your mind, meaning man and buddhi, is your soul. So when soul is beyond mind, then there's no question of senses, right? Senses cannot perceive the soul in any way, and even your mind cannot know your own soul because soul is beyond the mind. What's beyond soul? Kathopanishad says Maya is beyond the soul because you're under Maya. And beyond Maya, Purush, God, the supreme divine personality of God. Shri Krishna is beyond Maya. What does this all mean? Evam buddhe param buddhva sanstabhyatma manatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. You can defeat this enemy of desire, and included in that is the enemy of anger, if you attach your mind to that which is beyond the mind, which is kind of a riddle in and of itself. He's saying you have to attach your mind to God. If you can attach your mind to God, that will purify your mind. When your mind is fully purified, then the grace of God makes your mind divine, and all the material quality of your mind is eliminated. Now you have a divine mind like God. Divyam dadami te chakshu pashya me yogamayeshwaram. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Further ahead in the Gita, in the 10th chapter, first of all in the 11th chapter, the first shlok I quoted, Shri Krishna is telling Arjun, I'll give you divine eyes if you surrender to me. In the 10th chapter, he says, I'll give you a divine mind if you surrender to me. So we can get divine senses and a divine mind, and then we would be free from all the material defilements like desire and anger. The question is, how do you attach your mind to God when God is beyond your mind? We'll leave this question for a little bit later. Just keep it in mind. We have to attach our mind to God, but by definition, God is beyond our mind. Go char jahan lagi man jai, so sab maya jane hu bhai. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa sah. Ramayana and then Taittiriya Upanishad. Wherever the mind can go would all be within the field of Maya, because mind itself is Mayic. It may try to reach God, but it returns having failed. So it would seem that we can't get rid of desire and anger, because in order to do that, we have to fully attach our mind to God and receive His grace. Otherwise, as long as our mind remains Mayic, we have to deal with anger and desire. On the path of bhakti, these things are gradually reduced. We've already touched on a little bit how you can actually attach your mind to God. We'll talk more about it later today. For now, just understand that as you do attach your mind to God, your mind does gradually purify, so these negativities of the mind subside. It's a slow process. It doesn't happen overnight. But you do see some improvement as your mind purifies. As you're following this path of bhakti and gradually purifying your mind, you still have to do something else. We still have to control our anger and desire from the outside. When you're purifying your mind, you're actually removing the problem from the inside. You're dealing with the root of the problem. But that's a long process. There's no instant cure. The treatment is very long indeed. So in the meantime, you still have to deal with the inner feelings of anger and desire. Truly being without anger would mean that you'd never even feel anger in your heart. None of us is there. We all feel anger. We have to learn to control it from the outside. Someone might say, why? Is anger not useful? I don't know. Think back to your whole life. I'm thinking back through my whole life right now, and I can't remember a single time when I did something or said something out of anger, and afterwards, once I cooled down, I thought, oh yes, I'm really glad I said that. Can you think of a single time that you weren't sorry when you did something or said something in anger? We always regret it. So it's to our advantage to learn to control it. Here in the Gita, Shri Krishna says at many, many places, you should become anger-free. Being without anger is a good thing. But He never explicitly tells us how to do that. It's like if someone is dying of thirst and they're wandering in the desert and you tell them, oh, sir, if you found water, you could quench your thirst. Krishna keeps telling us, if you could be without anger and desire, you'd be much better off. You'd be at peace. But how to be without? For as long as we have to control it from the outside, as our heart gradually purifies, we still have to control it. Kripaluji Maharaj gave us a few good practical things that we can apply. Number one, he always says, remember that even the one that you're angry at has Radha and Krishna in their heart. So your divine beloved, the one whose grace you want, he is in the heart of the one that you're angry at. So even if you feel your anger is justified and the other person is wrong, that your anger will dissolve if you can stop and remember and just see Krishna inside that person. Oh, then it's not such a big deal. You can even think Krishna himself was having that person do that in order to test you and show you your weakness. You can also think that you're trying to bring Shri Krishna into your heart. When you think of him, you're bringing him into your heart. When you have anger, what have you done? You've chased him out. They can't both be there, right? Can you both be angry and thinking of Shri Krishna? No, if you think of Shri Krishna, your anger will go away. So it means that you've chased him out of your heart. You can think of that as well. Kripaluji Maharaj spoke often about humbleness, that we're all imperfect beings up until God realization, every one of us. And we've all done uncountable wrong things in uncountable past lifetimes. So truly none is better or worse than anyone else. We're all at the same level. Someone may be more devotional in this life. Someone else may be more evil-minded in this life. But if you look at the big picture, we're all pretty much the same. So we can remind ourselves of that too and maintain a more humble attitude and just understand that this person has some qualities we don't like. We probably also have qualities that annoy certain other people, and we should be more forgiving. As far as desire goes, desire also causes us to do many wrong things. But the science of desire has already been explained to you. That desire is natural because we are a part of God and God is happiness, so we automatically desire happiness. Thus, there's no way to remove desire from our mind. The only thing we have to do is divert our desire towards God instead of having it aimed at the world. The desire for happiness is correct. When you feel a desire, divert it towards Shri Krishna instead of thinking, oh, I'm a bad person for having a desire. I shouldn't have this desire. Desire is natural. Just take it and turn it towards God. That's all. Even anger can be turned into devotion, actually. When you feel angry at someone else, just think, you know, I have wasted uncountable lifetimes. Krishna has given me uncountable human births for the purpose of attaining him, and I've wasted all of those lives, and this whole life as well, up until now, I haven't used it for what he actually gave it to me for. I've wasted so much time. So get angry at that fact that we're wasting so much time or we've wasted so many lifetimes. Because sometimes even with every trick in the book, you can't get rid of that feeling of anger. Okay, so then harness it and turn it to some devotional purpose. Get angry at your own carelessness or your own laziness on the devotional path. Thus, anger can even be turned towards devotion. Thus ends the third chapter with Shri Krishna saying that you have to attach your mind to him, and only when you succeed in doing that, then you could be free of anger and desire forever. As he had already explained, once you attain God, you get perfect happiness, then desire is completely fulfilled. You have nothing more to desire, you just keep experiencing ultimate bliss all the time. Then what would there ever be how could there ever be a reason for anger when you're always experiencing happiness? But you have to get to the point of being able to attach your mind to him. In the beginning of the fourth chapter, Shri Krishna says, Imam vivasvate yogam muktavanaham avyayam. Arjun, this yoga that I'm explaining to you in the Gita, the word yoga in the Gita means the one who is attaching his mind to God, or the attachment of your mind to God is yoga, and a yogi is the one who is attaching his mind to God, or surrendering to God. So this yoga, this path of attaching your mind to God, I gave this knowledge a long time ago to Vivaswan, the celestial god of the sun. Vivaswan is the father of Vaivaswat Manu, our current Manu in this, the 7th Manvantar of the 28th Kali Yuga. So Arjun says, but that was so long ago. In fact, what I meant to say was it's the 28th Kali Yuga of the 7th Manvantar, of the first day of Brahma's 51st year. But that's over 100 million years. If you go back 28 cycles of the 4 yugas, it's over 100 million years, more than 120 million years. And you gave the knowledge of Gita back then to Vivaswan? How is that possible? Of course, he's asking on our behalf. Because many people, it's Kali Yuga, so people get confused about spiritual philosophy. They get confused about God. And unfortunately, they use their material intellect to try to analyze God in a material way. This is called namaparad, spiritual transgression. When someone thinks of Krishna or Ram or any form of God as an ordinary human being, this is a grave spiritual transgression. There are 2 kinds of sins, 2 kinds of pap. There's social sin, like stealing or killing or doing something like that. Then there's spiritual sin, where you actually disrespect God or a God-realized saint. And disrespecting God means disrespecting His names, His forms, His leelas, His abodes, His gunas, His jan, His divine associates. This has an immediate effect of creating a blockage inside our mind which prevents us from being able to understand or accept spiritual philosophy or to experience bhav. When we try to chant God's name or meditate on God, we don't feel anything. Why? Because of past spiritual transgressions. Arjun is asking this question to give us a chance to understand Shri Krishna's divinity. Shri Krishna is not an ordinary being. He is God. So he takes some time to explain this. Up until now, he hasn't said anything about himself. He's been talking about the soul, souls in general, the eternity of the souls, the nature of the world, how souls can find God, but he hasn't said anything about himself, about God. So he starts by saying, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. Oh Arjun, don't you know? I have had uncountable past janma, and so have you had uncountable past janma. However, you don't remember any of your past janma, your births, and you don't remember any of mine, but I remember all of mine and all of yours and all of everybody else's. There's another difference between his janma, Shri Krishna is telling Arjun, between your janma and my janma. He says his janma is divya. Janma karma cha me divyam Both my janma and my karma are divya. Divya means divine. So let's understand, what's the difference between a divine janma and a material janma? What's the difference between divine karma and material karma? Put simply, God and God-realized saints do divine karma, and those of us under the bondage of Maya do material karma. God has a divine janma, and all of us have material janma. Start with the janma. Janma comes from the Sanskrit root jani pradur bhave, which means prakat hona, to appear. You know, like a magician could just be invisible and then poof, appear out of nowhere. That's appearing, right? We take janma and Shri Krishna takes janma. It means we actually appear and he appears, but his appearance is divine and ours is material. How? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, iha sansare khalu dustare, kripaya pare pahi murare, bhaj govindam, bhaj govindam, govindam bhaj mudhamate. Shankaracharya says, souls are born again and again majburi se. They don't have a choice. They have to be born because they're bound by karma. They performed their material karma in their last life, and because they're bound by that, they have to be reborn and get another birth, and they have no choice in where they're reborn, into what family they're reborn, and even into what species they're reborn. They have no choice. It's all enforced upon them because they're under the bondage of karma. No one can just decide, okay, I've had enough, I want to break. After this life, I'm just going to rest for a while. I'm not going to have any more births for some time. No, as soon as you die, you're reborn again. But God comes of his own svecha, his own free will. He just decides, I'm coming. That's one difference. We are forced to come. He comes of his own free will. Another big difference is that our body is material and his is divine. When we come, we came from somewhere else. We were alive in some other body, and when our soul left that body, it doesn't necessarily travel. Like, let's say you were born in India in your last life, and then you were born in America in this life. Your soul doesn't have to travel from India to America in order to be reborn. Soul is sarvagata. It can go anywhere instantly. It can only be in one place at one time, but it can go anywhere in this universe instantly. So God simply transfers you from your previous birth into your mother's womb, whoever's going to be your mother in this birth. But you do appear, right? You were somewhere else. You disappeared from over there, appeared here. But God doesn't appear in the same way that we do, because he wasn't somewhere else and then he decided to come here on the earth. He's already here. He's everywhere. There's nowhere that he isn't. So he doesn't have to come from his divine world and come and visit this world. He's omnipresent. So all he has to do is make himself visible to us, which he can do even without giving us divine eyes. If we had divine eyes, then when he makes himself visible, we can actually recognize his divinity and enjoy his divine beauty. It would be a blissful experience for us. And without divine eyes, we see him, but we don't recognize him. We see him as an ordinary person, but we do see him. When he comes, he just appears, but he's still everywhere else. He's made himself visible to us at one place, But he's still omnipresent in the universe, and he's still in his divine abode. And he's still sitting within the heart of every soul, looking after or keeping track of all of their karma. Yet, he's appearing at one place where even we could see him. If there was a saint, the saint would also see him everywhere else. Someone with divine eyes would see, oh, all these ordinary people can see Krishna here, but the saint can also see that he's omnipresent. This is how he takes avatar. He just appears. Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. He explains that even when he's here, Bhutanam Ishvaropi San, he is still the Lord of all the living beings, and Prakritim Swamadhisthaya, he's still the Lord of the universe. In other words, he's still giving life to all the souls and keeping track of their actions, and he's still upholding the existence of the universe. If God were not upholding the existence of the universe, it would cease to exist. He's the one keeping Maya activated so that it remains in this manifested form. If he were to withdraw his power, the whole universe would be instantly destroyed. He's still doing this. He's upholding the existence of the universe, and he's still looking after all of the souls, even when he's appearing at one place. We call that taking avatar. Ajopi sannavyayatma. He says, my body is divine, supreme, and indivisible. It means Shri Krishna's divine body is the same body he's had since eternity. He doesn't get a new body when he comes in this world. His body is omnipresent. When we say God is omnipresent, it means his body is omnipresent. You can't imagine it with a material mind, but that's how it is. He can be taking avatar on uncountable earth planets in this endless universe simultaneously. Yet he's only one. Yet he's everywhere. So he's God. That Krishna is explaining, we shouldn't think that just because we could see him on this earth planet, and if we did see him, he would appear as an ordinary being to us because we have material eyes. We should never take him to be an ordinary material being. What we're actually seeing is his divine body with which he is omnipresent. And even when he leaves this earth, he doesn't go anywhere, right? He just disappears. He doesn't die. He doesn't leave his body behind. He just disappears. Shri Krishna appeared and he disappeared. He wasn't born like we are. It's like a simulation of a material birth. We enter our mother's womb as the embryo is developing, and that grows over 9 months, and then we're born. Shri Krishna's mother, Devaki, thought she was pregnant and felt pregnant, and her belly looked like she was pregnant, and she could feel a little baby moving in there. But there was no little Shri Krishna growing in her belly. He was using his Yogamaya Shakti to give her that experience. And after 9 months, he simply appeared. Tamadbhutam balakamam bhujekshanam chaturbhujam shankhagadar yudayudham Shrivatsalakshmam galashobhikaustubham Pitambaram sandrapayoda saubhagam. Bhagavatam. It's a description of how Shri Krishna appeared in his full-grown form. You can imagine like 6 feet tall, wearing a crown, wearing his pitambar with his full decorations and dress. He appeared in front of Mother Devaki, and she felt that her stomach is now empty. So I don't think that he came out of her womb. No. She just had that experience. It was a blissful experience for her of feeling that she was pregnant with Shri Krishna, but there was no actual body growing inside of her. He just gave her that feeling, and then he appeared in his full-grown form, and she said, Upasanghara Vishvatman Nadorupamalaukikam. Please become a little baby. I want you as my child, not my father. I asked for you when you gave me a boon in my last life. I asked for you as my son. So please become a little baby. Then he transformed himself into a little baby. That's it. Then he began his leela of growing up. It's a leela, a pre-planned leela. Little baby Krishna, you think, oh, he's just a little boy. No, that little boy who's learning to crawl, who cries to get into his mother's lap, who gets scolded by his mother when he's naughty, that little boy still knows what every soul in this whole universe is doing every second. And that little boy is upholding the existence of the whole universe. One Leela, which you all know, beautifully depicts this. Shri Krishna got into trouble for eating soil, as little kids do. Even I stay with so many families around the country. They have some potted plant in their house, and the baby or the little kid is always going and trying to eat the dirt. I don't know what it is about little kids. Shri Krishna was the same way. He liked to eat the dirt. And his mother used to scold him. And of course he would always deny it, because he's doing the leela of acting like a little boy. So he's got to do everything. Little kids lie when they get into trouble, don't they? No, mother, I didn't do it. Did you eat the soil? No, I didn't eat the soil. If you don't believe me, why don't you look in my mouth? Thinking that, well, if I say it with that much confidence, she'll just believe me. She won't actually look in my mouth. But today, mother said, okay, open. Let's see. She was holding a stick, threatening him. Then Shri Krishna became frightened. How could God become frightened? I'll explain later. But for now, understand that he was frightened and he was crying. That, oh, mother's going to hit me with this, a little stick, thinner than my finger. So out of fear, without even realizing it, his mouth just opened. So then mother looked inside to see, is there any dirt in there stuck in his teeth? And when she looked inside, she saw the whole universe. The whole entire universe inside of his mouth. So you see, even when Krishna is crying, even when he's a little boy, he's still upholding the whole universe. The endless universe is inside of Shri Krishna. So we should never take him for an ordinary mortal or an ordinary being. Even when he's a little boy, he's still God. This is the message of the 4th chapter. In this way, we understand the difference between a divine janma and a material janma. A divine janma means God's janma, God's birth. He's not actually born, but we call it his birth. He appears. He simulates a material pregnancy and birth because he's coming in our material world, but he's not actually born. We are born. We get a body which is different in every life. He always has the same body. In fact, he and his body are one and the same, which is totally the opposite from souls. The whole philosophy of Gita is to teach you are not your body. You are not your body. You are the soul. So there's a soul-body duality. And as the soul, you always leave your body and go to another one. Shri Krishna is his body. His body is him. There's no Shri Krishna within his body. There's just Shri Krishna. That's it. So it's a big difference between God and souls. And that's why his body is eternal and he can do whatever he wants with it. He can make himself a little baby. He can manifest himself appearing in this world. He can do all of that. And while he's here, his karma is also divine. This is a simple one to understand. When you have no personal desire, then there's no reason for you to perform any karma. We have our own desire for happiness. That motivates all of our karma. So our karma is mayic, material. We get the results of our karma. God gets no results from his karma. He creates the world. He destroys the world. Do you think there's someone watching over God? Okay, God, you did the karma of creating the world. You'll get this result for that. Okay, God, you thought this. You'll get this result for that. There's no one keeping track of Krishna's karma. So he doesn't really, you can say, there's no bondage of karma for him. That's why his doings are called divine karma. And the same is true for saints. Those who have attained God also have no personal desire of any kind, so their karma is not binding for them. Whatever God and the saints do is only to help us souls attain God. That's it. Mukhyam tasya hi karunyam. Karuna, kindness or compassion, is the reason for every karma of God and every karma of the saints. Understanding this, Shri Krishna wraps up this explanation of his avatar by saying, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He explains his reasons for taking avatar in this world. Although he says, I come to protect my saints, I come to establish dharma, I come to kill the demons. You can understand it, let's simplify it and just say, he comes for us. That's it. He comes to show us the path to God or to inspire us to follow that path or to leave behind things like his leelas that we know about because of the saints in the scriptures who tell us about them. Then we have a way to know about him and appreciate him and start loving him, because we can learn so much about his personality, his lovingness, his kindness through those leelas. So that's why he comes. And through that he establishes dharma. Remember, dharma is yasyam madatmakah dharma. He says in the Bhagavatam, dharma is how a soul gets to me. So he has to give us some material to use for remembering him. So he comes and leaves his leelas and his names behind as a means of remembering him. In this way, Shri Krishna has explained about his avatar. And we are left with a couple of questions. Number one, how do we attach our mind to God when our mind is mayic and God is beyond maya? And number two, why is it that God can be made to be afraid I told you, in front of Mother Yashoda, Krishna was afraid and crying, but he wasn't pretending. So how is it that God is afraid or God is crying when he's supposed to be all-powerful and all-knowing? I'll answer these two questions tomorrow as we wrap up the philosophy of the 4th chapter and we also move on to the 5th chapter. Boli Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. Now we'll make use of some of that material that Shri Krishna left behind. In other words, his names. We'll sing his divine names, and you can meditate on his form, which we also wouldn't know about if he hadn't have come here on this earth planet. So meditating on his form is called Roop Dhyan. Roop meaning the form, and Dhyan, meditation. Try your best to picture his beautiful face, his beautiful form in your mind, knowing that it's the effort which he's watching and rewarding you for. It's not your skill in imagining him. So just make the effort to picture him and really feel His closeness, that He is here, He's everywhere, so He's here with you now. Do this meditation and chant His name with the faith that it's Him, it's His name you're chanting. So chant it with that feeling. Govinda, Govinda, Gopal, Radhe Krishna.
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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe,
Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal, Radhe Krishna.
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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda,
Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Govinda.
गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण
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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे गोविंद गोविंद
राधे गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण
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 अलबेली सरकार की श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे।